Hello, this is Liam Corner, captain of Team Generations YouTubers, and this time I am bringing you the deck recipe of the tournament deck I used this past week, which you might have seen in the current duels on our last few videos on YouTube, on our channel. I cut down the deck a few cards, more like 10 cards, but it was 55, now it's going to be 45 once I get the last two cards that I was borrowing two cards from my teammate Kenny, and those two cards are Odd Eyes Fusion and Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which you might have seen me use in the tournament. Those two cards actually belong to my teammate. So until I get those two copies, those two cards will be the 45th in the main deck and the 15th in the extra deck, which aren't in there right now. So those are, right now the main deck is 44 and 15. So start with the deck and its deck tech. The first two cards are 2 Odd Eyes Saber Dragon. This card is ran mostly, as you may have seen in one of the matches, this card is a really good help, especially getting out of sticky situations. One of the duels I had to face someone who ran Big Eye in their Odd Eyes deck, and that came in really sticky because they took over Dark Rebellion. Well, I Pendulum summoned 2 monsters, tributed them because I couldn't get out him by a Pendulum because my scales were 2 to 5. What I managed to do though was I Pendulum summoned 2, tributed them, swung over Big Eye, got rid of Big Eye, and then his ability let me destroy the Dark Rebellion and keep me around for at least a little bit, but then his Dragon Pulse just discarded a Pendulum and got rid of him and swung for duel, basically. That was the problem there. But otherwise, came in handy to at least get Dark Rebellion back in my grave and Big Eye off the field. But you get the idea. He's pretty helpful. He's a pretty helpful card. His ability is really nice, and he's easy to get out if he has a scale set because he's easy to summon in the deck. Next we have 2 Performapal Society Tiger, a monster who is basically your Pendulum Performapals. He searches your Performapal Pendulum monster with an effect that says, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add 1 Performapal Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. You can use this effect of Performapal Society Tiger once per turn, basically. As you can see, 1700 and 500 defense. Very good option, especially considering it's a level 4, so it can also be used to Exceed Summon 2 of your monsters. Or if you want to go that route, you can Synchro Summon with them with Noble Dragon for some of your level 7 plays to go into rank 7s. Our next 2 cards in the deck for effect monsters are Tuning Magician. We run 2 tunings because it's a really good level 1 tuner for the deck to get into your level 8s, which we run 2 of. That's why we only run 2 and 2. Our 2 monsters are 1 Enlightenment Paladin and 1 Scrap Dragon. I run Scrap Dragon because Scrap Dragon runs really well with consistency of pendulums because the destruction effect and the recyclement of the pendulums works amazingly together. Plus, if you can, and Monkey Board becomes too cloggy on board with your other scale, you can destroy Monkey Board, give him the pendulums or face-up extra deck, set your other pendulum scale, and now you have got rid of the clogginess, along with the capability to basically re-pendulum summon what you need without having too much clogginess on board. So it comes in handy. Now we have 2 one-ups for effect monsters. We have a Performapal Elfhammer, who is basically a 2600 beast type monster for beast eyes Pendulum Dragon. Plus, if he attacks himself, your opponent's spell and trap cards get returned to their hand when he attacks. And then Curse of Dragonfire from Millennium Pack 2016. Basically, his effect states that when he's normal special summon, you can target 1 field spell card on the field and destroy it. And then you can fusion some without a polymerization when monsters you control, except for this card. Next monster, of course, is Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon. An amazing card. Basically, he's a bigger form of Odd Eyes, 2825. But his effect says when he's ritual summoned, you can all spell and trap cards your opponent's control return to their hand, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. So which basically means that they cannot Solemn Strike the effect or anything like that, or Divine Wrath or anything of that sort. Also, his effect also states that your opponent has to pay 500 life points to activate effects from there on out, while he's on the board. As you can probably see next, we run 3 Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon, because he's the main boss monster. These are our pendulum monsters next. We're moving on to the rest of the card frames. So, Odd-Eyes Pendulum Dragon is a 3 of. As you know, he's probably a staple in most decks, so his main ability that we run in here is to search out and then inflict damage. Next we run 3 Noble Dragon for the tuning and for the... mostly for the tuning, but also for the fact that he is an easy pendulum summon for the tuning. He's mainly just a tuner to synchro summon into bigger guys, which is why we run him. 3 Silver Claw, and then you can use those synchros if you get bulky on board. You can synchro summon them or exceed summon them into your other bulk. Who get more abilities on. 3 Silver Claw. This guy basically says he's usually used as a monster instead of a pendulum scale for this guy. Basically, if he attacks all Performapal monsters you currently control, gain 300 attack until the end of the battle phase. So basically it gives your Sayu Tiger and himself and any other big Performapal you have on board extra 300 attack to get over things or give direct attacks. 2 Dragon Pit and 2 Dragon Pulse in my deck. These 2 are in here like this mostly because I like a good consistency on Spell and Trap and Monster Destruction with these 2, because in that way I have 1 to 8 evenly in here with these 2, because I like to have them both evenly option to search for. Not to mention the fact that then it's easier to get them out and start pendulum summoning easier with easier searching and easier I noticed though that if I don't have it even with those 2, like 3 and 1 like most people do, I get clogged up sometimes with other card combos. So I tried to cut it out to 2 and 2, and it seemed to work better for my deck build. 2 Oath Dragon. He recovers your Wisdom Eye from your extra deck and from your grave if he goes to grave. 2 Kieran. I respect the Unicorn Kieran's good because he basically he uses his ability when he's during either player's turn you can target 1 pendulum monster you control, so basically in your monster zone. So basically you can target himself or any of your lower's attack point or any really of your pendulum monsters. So you have him and a, say, Silver Claw on board who's just wasting space right now. Him and Silver Claw, you can target Silver Claw on 1 big monster they have, bounce them both back to hand. You both go back to hand, and you basically just got rid of a threat on their board while keeping your cards back in hand that you need in hand. Yeah. 1 Wisdom Eye because he's currently banned, or limited, not banned. He's currently hit at 1 right now, and he's also really good because he sets the pendulum scale for you from the deck. So he's really amazing. Next card is a Zhanke Magician. Not only does he allow you to exceed someone with a Xyz monster, which gets you Odd-Eyes Rebellion plays much more dangerous. He also has a level 7 Xyz play capability, and if he does use that capability, he can negate light monster effects till the end of the turn, which come in handy too. Our next card is 1 Monkey Board and 1 Skullcrobat Joker. Usually the combo with this is you set up him. Believe it or not, I do not usually, if I set him up, I don't play him like most people. I'll actually set him, because I find that if I play him instead of setting him, Monkey Board usually becomes too cloggy because he becomes 4, and every other card you play over here makes it really awkward to pendulum summon anything higher than 5. Then it's like it's less than half your deck. So usually I'll just set them both, and then, because I have other ways to search out cards that you need, like Sky Iris will search out a lot of stuff, or unless I have Sky Iris in hand, then I'll play Sky Iris, destroy him, and then search out Odd-Eyes cards. That's the only time I'll ever play him, is if I have Sky Iris in hand and can destroy him right off the bat. But otherwise, I'll set them both as pendulum scales to start things off. The 2 pendulum calls, of course. Great card in the deck because it lets you search out 2 pendulum magician pendulum monsters, just by discarding one card. So you can discard like your Tuning Magician or your Noble Dragon can be used again from the grave. Or even another big Pendulum Monster like Otto's Pendulum Dragon, which is actually usable in this deck with another card we have. So you use that, and and also with its ability, the turn you activate this card, Magician Pendulums cannot be destroyed by card effects in the Pendulum Zone, so that comes in handy. Of course, we run the 2 Skyrus, like I mentioned. So take those off the board, take those off the field. You run the 1 Performance Hurricane. This is basically a mass removal bounce for any Performapal deck. Bounces cards equal to the number of Performapal monsters you have. Otto's Advent. This card basically lets you ritual summon a dragon type ritual monster from your hand or grave by tributing pendulum monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the levels of the ritual monster you ritual summon. Also, if your opponent does have 2 or more monsters and you control none on the field, you can use Otto's monsters from your extra deck to ritual summon, so that comes in handy. And the 1 Twin Twisters I own is in here. That's a good card for the deck. I have a Polymerization for the deck for Rune Eyes, usually, because I get Beast Eyes out other ways. And Raigeki is my last spell, I believe. Yeah. You run 2 Pendulum Reborn. This is why I said you usually, if you don't have Tuning or Noble Dragon, you discard like Odd Eyes Pendulum or a big Pendulum monster. Because Pendulum Reborn brings them back, and they get really bulky on field, and it gets really good plays started with rank 7s and stuff. So it's a really good option. Our next 2 of is Performapal Call. This card basically lets you negate a direct attack and search out 2 Performapal monsters whose total attack or total defense is equal to or less than the attack of the negated monster's attack. So say a monster is attacking with 2500 attack, you can search out anything whose defenses add up to 2500 or less. Or if they're attacking with like a 3000 attack Scarlet, you can search out both Monkey Board and I think Skull Crowbat falls under that. How much does he have? 600? If he does, you can actually search him out. He has 100. If 25, you can even search out Skull Crowbat and Monkey Board all in one. That's 25 exact. Last but not least, I run the 1 Command Performance, because this card, basically, if I control a Performapal monster, I can change all my opponent's monsters to defense position. And then they cannot change the battle position. They cannot change their battle position until the end of the turn. So it comes in handy to stall my opponents so they can't deal me damage to battle this turn. Onto the extra deck, like I said, I do not have any Vortex Dragons, and I will be running one later, and 1 Fusion will be going to the deck as the 45th. But for the main deck, we are looking for one more Vortex in the extra deck. For now, I run the 1 Beast Eyes and 1 Rune Eyes in the deck. I run, for level 6 Synchros, 1 Metaphys Horus, 1 Black Rose Moonlight in level 7s, and 1 Clear Wing Synchro, and 1 Eyes Meteor Burst for level 8s. Earlier, I already mentioned these 2 as level 8s, or level 7s. Level 8s, these 2 were already mentioned, Enlightenment Paladin and Scrap Dragon. Then finally, for the rank 7s and rank 4s. Our 2 rank 4s are Castell and Dark Rebellion, of course. If I can get them to focus. There we go. Get them in the right area. And our rank 7s are Odd Eyes Rebellion, Red Eyes Flare Metal, and 2 Odd Eyes Absolute. And then there will be the Odd Eyes Vortex at the beginning of this list with the fusions when I get it. Thank you for watching, and that will be the Performapal Odd Eyes Magician deck that I will have finalized for this deck once I get the Odd Eyes Fusion and Odd Eyes Vortex. Thank you, and have a nice day.